So welcome back, or just welcome if that makes more sense to you. And that was some clips from a project that I've been working on recently, and I figured today I'd show you some BTS and some editing tricks that I used on this project, and of course I'll share the entire sequence with you as well. There's something about bourbon, or the aesthetics around bourbon, that I really like. Maybe it's the wood or the refined grit, and maybe because I'm also a fan of some of the music from Kentucky. That might be another reason that I'm kind of drawn into this bourbon thing and the aesthetics. So first off, I decided to use my TV as a backdrop or a virtual set. And this is a technique that's becoming more and more popular. I think the first one I ever saw do this was Austin Paul, but by now most of you have probably seen the BTS on The Mandalorian, where they use the same kind of technique but at a much larger scale. So the good thing about using a screen as a background, especially if you're shooting transparent stuff like I did, I had the whiskey glass and I had the whiskey bottle, and I'm actually being able to capture the background through the product itself. Now imagine if you were to do the same kind of shots against a green screen or a blue screen. Another benefit with having the screen as a background is that you'll get some spill and some reflections onto your product. Now normally if you're using a green screen or blue screen, this is a bad thing. But with the proper background already in place, that will cast reflections and light spill onto your product, helping it sell the effect even more. I also wanted some props to have more real objects in my frame around the actual subject. So one of the first things I found in my house was this old washboard or washing board. Now if you look at the texture and all that, it's got the wood, it's got the grit and the wear and everything. So and the second one was an old vintage guitar that I have, and that guitar actually helped me to get the story piece together, because at first I was just planning on using the washboard as a still prop, but with the guitar I figured I could use the washboard as a musical instrument as well. And most of the shots I did was done on tripod, and I used my crappy Lazy Susan to get some more movement into the shots. Then I just moved around the camera, tilted it and shifted around some of the props to get some different compositions and angles. And in post I did some keyframing, just zooming in, zooming out, and adding some additional movement. So two things I used a lot in this edit is mattes and the brightness and contrast effect. Let me show you a couple of ways on how you can use these, and let's start with mattes. If you're using Premiere, then start by creating a matte by clicking down here. We're going to use a black matte for this, so just hit OK and let's name it something. So with mattes you can do some post magic, and today we're going to use them to kind of steer the eye towards the part of the frame where we want the viewer to be looking. Let's place our map on top of our clip, and voila, everything is black. So let's jump over here and lower the opacity of the matte so we can see the frame behind it. Now if we look at the framing, we've got the glass here and we got the guitar over on this side, but there's nothing, or not a whole lot going on the left side here. So with the pen tool we can draw a mask on the matte like so. Doesn't have to be perfect. And let's go ahead and feather the mask. Feather a lot. Now as you can see, if we bring the opacity up a little, we start making some interesting shapes of light and darkness, making this empty side darker, so the eyes will go towards the glass and maybe the guitar over here. Just like so. So now your eyes don't have to scan the entire frame in order to figure out where to look or what's important. We're kind of helping the eyes to and guiding them to the point of interest. Now the second trick I used a lot in this edit is the brightness and contrast effect. If you need lift somewhere in your frame, then this effect usually does the job. So on this shot, we've got the bottle rotating and all, but I think the label could stand out a bit more. Let's go ahead and search. Grab and drop. Now for this, I'm pretty sure we'll be okay by using the round shape mask of the effect. So, and put it in place, adjust the size and shape a little bit. And don't forget to feather. Now, let's increase the brightness. If you're seeing that you're losing some contrast, just add it back with a contrast slider down here. Okay, so I think this is looking good enough for a demo. Let's take a look at the before and the after. It's subtle, but when you see it after, you'll probably prefer it over the before, right? And since the bottle is moving, let's add a quick animation to our mask to help the mask move along with the label. So now let's start by making sure that the playhead is at the very beginning of the clip, and then click the stopwatch on the mask path over here. That'll create the keyframe. And now let's move the playhead to the end of the clip and drag our mask to the right position. Now let's have a quick look to see if the mask follows the label the whole time. If it doesn't, just stop and move the mask to the right position and continue scrubbing, and that's it. Now you made a quick, easy animation of that mask as well. Now before we roll the Bourbon video, I just want to say thank you for watching. I hope you found this video inspirational or at least interesting. And if you did, then please consider subscribing to my channel and giving this video a thumbs up. That'll help other people finding the video as well. And if you're using any of these tricks in your upcoming videos, then please share the video link in the comment sections and I'll make sure to head over and check them out. Now, without any further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one, and here's some bourbon.